Hey everyone, my name is Wedge and welcome to week 2 of Shadows over Innistrad preview season. We missed the end of last week, so we're going to bring you 2 videos today covering all the spoilers we missed over the weekend and showcasing all the cards revealed today. Spoiler alert, yeah, lots of good stuff coming your way. If you don't see a card in this video that was revealed, don't worry, it'll be in the next one, trust me. Without further ado, enjoy the video, enjoy Innistrad, and count yourself lucky that you weren't born on that plane because it is a scary place. Corrupted Graph Stone is 2 mana for an artifact that enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it and choose a color of a card in your graveyard, add 1 mana of that color to your mana pool. Am I missing something? This is a rare? Alright, let's backtrack for a second. It enters the battlefield tapped, so we already can't use it on turn 2. When it untaps on turn 3, you need something in your graveyard to even use it. That's the thing. You have to choose a color of a card in your graveyard. You could play this on turn 2 and have it be completely useless for a long time. Now, there are obvious uses. In control decks, the pseudo ramp is going to be great late game. Once you have some spells in your yard, this functions like a ramp spell. I totally get that and I support it. I just don't get the rarity. A lot of players are going to feel salty about pulling this card, you know that. I might be missing something glaring about this, and again, I understand its functionality, but I don't know why it's a rare. Tell me what you think. Always Watching is 1 of anything and 2 white for an enchantment. Non-token creatures you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance. For those of you around for original Innistrad, this is a fixed, non-token version of Intangible Virtue. I say fixed because the virtue was banned in block constructed for making tokens too powerful. We're talking about a block that had Lingering Souls in Standard, for goodness sake. Anyways, Always Watching is an interesting card. Granting Vigilance is pretty sweet, but it is 1 mana more than a card like Honor of the Pure, and that 3 mana is another white-specific cost, but it applies to all creatures, not just white creatures. This is a tough call. Not sure how to feel about it. Tokens are often much better at going wide than non-tokens, so I reserve judgment here. Phalios Lieutenant is 2 mana for a 1/1 human soldier. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each other human you control. Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Thalia's Lieutenant. This is a nice human lord card, very reminiscent of Champion of the Parish. Now this does cost more than the Champion, but the enter the battlefield trigger does warrant that. Could this mean we actually see Thalia in the set? That would be sweet. Either way, I like this for any type of human tribal deck. The Lieutenant grows itself and pumps the board. I like it. Confirmed Suspicions is 3 of anything and 2 blue for an instant. Counter target spell, investigate 3 times. No, I've had enough. This is not counterspell. It's the same cost as Force of Will, not that either. I don't care how many clues are on the battlefield. I'm not casting a 5 mana counterspell. No, it's bad. No, I'm done. I'm protesting. I've had enough. Just hashtag make counterspells great again. Daring Sleuth is 2 mana for a 2/1 human rogue. When you sacrifice a clue, transform the sleuth into Bearer of Overwhelming Truths. Great name. A 3/2 human wizard with prowess. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, investigate. Well, isn't this one of the coolest cards? He starts out as a detective trying to figure out what these vines are for, something like that. He learns too much, transforms, becomes more powerful as a result, is infused with magic, and is now clearly either corrupted or he discovered whatever it is he was after. Now that's flavor. The art on the bearer is also really cool, kind of creepy, like really creepy, but it's cool. Engulf the Shore is 4 mana for an instant. Return to their owner's hands all creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands you control. Let's really get into evaluating this card, shall we? Wait a second. Do you see that art? What's in the water is that? No, it can't be. Ongoing Investigation is 2 mana for an enchantment. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, investigate. You can also pay 1 of anything and 1 green and exile a creature card in your graveyard to investigate and gain 2 life. Card's super interesting. Notice that it's a blue card with a very green ability that's very Edric. Anyways, the card is broken down into 2 really cool parts. First, you search for clues. Then, in case you find a clue, you use the second ability, get rid of a body, investigate some more, and gain life when you solve the case. Cool little story on the card. A bit slow for standard, but for limited it might be worth it. I like its ability with Thopter Spy Network as well. That'd be interesting. Asylum Visitor is 2 mana for a 3/1 vampire wizard with madness costing 2 mana. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if that player has no cards in hand, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. I see this card as a weirdly fixed Dark Confidant. I know it isn't fair to compare the two, but I really can't help it. What's nice is that the life loss is fixed to 1, so you don't get destroyed by converted mana cost. Also, it's on both upkeeps. If you're playing something like 8-Rack in Modern, you can easily get triggers from this on every single turn. Now, is this better than Dark Confidant? No. They don't even do the same thing, really. I do think this will be used somewhere, especially in a budget version of 8-Rack, because it isn't $8 billion like the Confidant. Even if you just look at the surface value, it's a 3/1 vampire for 2 mana. In an aggressive deck where you're board vomiting anyways, yeah, I'll probably play this. Diagraph Colossus is 3 mana for a 2/2 zombie giant. It enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each zombie card in your graveyard. Whenever you cast a zombie spell, put a 2/2 black zombie creature onto the battlefield tapped. Wow, this thing's awesome. We've seen cards made for tribal decks come and go, and they're all playable in Commander. Gisa, Grimgrin, Sidisi. Just take this card, Gravecrawler, add in a Phyrexian Altar, and boom, infinite zombies, delicious. In Standard, we'll have to see what the rest of the zombie support looks like, but this Colossus creates some serious board pressure, big fan. Sin Prodder is 3 mana for a 3/2 Devil with Menace. Wowza, brick of text, okay. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. Any opponent may have you put that card into your graveyard. If a player does, Sin Prodder deals damage to that player equal to that card's converted mana cost. Otherwise, put that card into your hand. Now, this is a card that's really hard to figure out. What's important to remember is that you don't get a say in this. It's just your opponent's. So you don't get to bin your lands. That'd be hilarious. The creature is fine as is. 3 mana for a 3/2 with evasion. It's not bad. The ability, though, where you'd think this card would go, red aggro decks, it might not go there. Think about it. If you're going to draw, let's say, Exquisite Firecraft, your opponent can choose to take 3 damage instead of 4 and just mill it. Not saying that's a huge advantage, but you get my point. A lot of people say that giving your opponent any choice at all is automatically bad for you since they're going to do the best thing for them. I don't know, this is super difficult to really figure out. I'm lost. What do you think? Silverfur Partisan is 3 mana for a 2/2 Wolf Warrior with Trample. Whenever a wolf or a werewolf you control becomes the target of an instant or sorcery spell, put a 2/2 green wolf token onto the battlefield. Alright, I am loving this Lord cycle. Wizards is traveling pretty far away from the whole all creatures of this type get +1/+1 stuff. I enjoy this kind of trigger much better. Almost like a creature generation version of Kira Great Glass Spinner, except for puppies. The card's sweet. Creating new threats when the old ones die is always nice. Also, this gives you incentive to run more combat tricks. Play this in a red-green deck with Zada. Target Zada with something, it copies onto all your other creatures, and all of your wolves make new wolves. Yeah, that's how that works. It's hilarious synergy. New dual land cycle. Oh baby. Port Town is a non-basic land. As it enters the battlefield, you may reveal a plains or island card from your hand. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. Tap it to add a white or blue mana to your mana pool. Sign me up. I am all for these. Love the idea. This is the perfect way to keep the card types on the Battlelands relevant. Think about it. You play Foreboding Ruins, revealing Cinderglade. So much value, so much synergy. I like the cycle a lot. I won't talk about how we're missing a new enemy land cycle because that's a conversation for another time, but for now these are serviceable. That's going to do it for the first of 2 preview videos today. I gotta know what you're thinking. I'm happy there's a focus on tribes in this set, and it isn't even cookie cutter support. Wizards is going out of their way to give each tribe a lord with a unique ability. I'm a fan. Which tribe is your favorite? Personally, I'm a zombie guy. Gotta love them zombies. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Shadows over Innistrad spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. Preview season is in full swing and we're seeing some crazy stuff. If we're going to see some type of human tribal deck, I bet that Kithian Hero of Akros is going to be there. Yeah, I bet you forgot about this Flip Walker from Origins. Well, right now you can get copies of him for $5. Yeah, that's it. Just $5. I won't even give you a second card to buy in this video. Kithian is crazy undercosted right now, and I'm telling you, if humans come out of this set, you can bet that baby Gideon will be right there.